Had to, had to zhuzh it up for y'all. This can be coming out here looking all regular schmegler. So this video is, I'm gonna talk real quick because I really didn't want to do that much talk for this video. I'm not gonna hold you. This video is actually about a trip I took to Fayetteville. 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yes, I'm putting some miles on my car to go to these exhibits to bring back to you. Yeah. Woodrow Nash was actually my motivating factor. He's a sculptor. I'd seen his work online and knew I wanted to see in person. So because he was in the neighborhood, I decided to take that drive out. It was actually like a fireside chat also with works for sale. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it because my man's out here living his life. He didn't even realize he needed a real ID to travel. So needless to say, TSA said, no, go back home. We need ID. But very pleasant man. Lots of advice for artists and just the story behind his works. Why they look the way they look, and just experiences over his lifetime of creating and just being an artist. So enjoy and leave comments about the works. If you get a chance to see it, see it. I'm always tell you that when you get a chance to see an artist's work, go see it because it's better than when you see it online. Okay? Talk to you on the next video. Later.
And when I had the chance to work with Beyonce and Black is King or Lenny Kravitz, that was a humbling experience because it placed my work and my ability on the same level as I'm on the national stage, but these people are on the international stage, and they're looked upon all over the world. That opened up my world, because a lot of opportunities came from that. So I think that it's a wonderful thing. I drew from what was happening in Paris during the 18th century with their Art Nouveau period. And I combined that with my ancestry, which is steeped in African tradition. I combined the two techniques and I coined the phrase, I called it African Nouveau. I wanted to emphasize on the sensuousness and the lines and the feelings of African American people, not the downtrodden, but the regalness that we portrayed instead of the downtrodden, subjected, cotton picking types of situations that we were subjected to. I personally just create from my own flow, my own, and whatever it is the ancestors gave me, it comes up and wells up and I create. And I have visions of what I want to say. I'm not trying to come up with an idea that might catch on and maybe sell a lot of pieces. That's not where I'm coming from. It's still a challenge to create the images. I'm constantly trying to come up with new ideas and innovations to just create a feeling of regalness in our particular culture. As an artist, when I'm creating, I'm revealing pieces of myself in certain forms or whatever. And I'm not that much of an activist. What I try to create and say in my work is, what I try to convey is a feeling, a mood. I kind of like just, I don't write anything down or draw anything. It kind of like just flows from the, I'm like a vessel. And the word just speaks for itself. My technique was developed, from what I understand, during the 15th century in what is now Nigeria, the Benin civilization. And at that time, they used to create these vessels, and they would not put the eyes in the vessels. So there was, where the eyes were supposed to be, they were hollowed out. And that was, the purpose for that was you had to enable the people to interact with that particular piece. So I developed that technique in my own work. I carved the eye out. And so when people look at my work and interact to it, it's drawing them into the work. And they have to interact with it. And it creates an emotion because they can't interpret that feeling. Why am I reacting to this inanimate object? And that's where it all stems from. And I'm forcing them to just deal with that particular piece. You know, I had a chance to visit an art show last summer. And it was a typical art in the park situation, and it was represented by 3 or 4 black artists. And it reminded me of my earlier days trying to see black art, in a white community. And we were often looked upon as exotics. They were curious about our work, but they didn't know if they wanted to have it represented in their homes. And so that's the task that a lot of artists have to deal with, is being true to themselves and saying what they want to say, or designing their work to fit into another type of culture. And if you're true to yourself, you're not going to bend that way, because, I mean, I have a number of galleries representing me now, not so many white galleries, but they're black galleries. And that's my mainstay. Those are the people that I'm communicating to. And so, yes, we're underrepresented in the shows. I go down to Art Basel, Sofa Show in Chicago, and there's not a lot of art based in there. I was asked once at Sofa Show where the closet was. They didn't know that I was one of the artists participating in the show. They thought I was one of the janitors.
The work began to evolve, and he began to do different finishes and things and paints on the pieces. People would say, "Oh, I like the rough stuff. I like the older stuff." But I was more excited about the new colors and the things that he was doing with the albino sculptures and everything. So this is kind of an ode back to what he started at, and it's just a befitting, timeless look at his work and where we are in today's society. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Nash, he may say a few words about these and what they mean, but they're special to me. And the 2 smaller pieces, he has never released anything like this in the smaller pieces before. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Take them off.
Wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, my God.
So this is it. And
beautiful pieces. When I was inspired to do these, the title for this series was Urban Tribal, because in black communities there's a lot of tribalism and gangs and social groups and church, Everybody has their own tribe. And I just called this urban tribal. At that time, that whole Trayvon Martin event happened. And so when people saw these, it sort of like took on another meaning behind the Trayvon Martin incident, you know, and it became that a symbolism of what happened with Trayvon Martin. Well, a young artist, in my area where he back Ohio and Akron, it formed a coalition of black artists. And they're all young and they're not aware of they consider themselves as local arts. And that's a mistake that I made early on in my career. And I was trying to convey to them, you know, don't limit yourself to the local economy. You want to be on a national stage. And in order to do that, you have to seek out these venues where we are represented and people seek you out. And instead of trying to, you know, like break into a market that's not fully appreciating your talent. So we just have to be strong enough and wise enough to use a different approach.